Hello, my name is Amanda Joy Hall, and this is my video analysis presentation number 1 on the help for the course Sociology 213. There are several conflicting perspectives seen in the lives of the main characters in the movie The Help. It is important to note that the only reason this film can even portray these conflicts of perspective is because the main character, Skeeter, looks at the racial issues at hand with a beginner's mind and questions why society functions the way it does. This is the entire reason why she is inspired to write her book about the help. And so anyways, the most obvious conflict of perspective is the treatment of the non-white people versus the white people. The segregation and discrimination in the movie is so deep that it literally tears apart social circles, social communities, the entire town of Jacksonville. The issues are as simple as sharing restrooms and eating together, and some people felt strongly that restrooms should not be shared. The most popular and powerful of Skeeter's friends, her childhood friend, even went as far as to try to pass a legal bill so that non-white people would have to use separate restrooms. That is, like, if the help is not white and they are working in a white house, then the White House must have a restroom for the help to use that's separate from their own. She felt so passionately about this that, like I said, she tried to pass legislation to enforce this law. Another issue is whether or not the help should be allowed to eat with the family that they worked for. This conflict was of particular interest to me because of how it was portrayed in the movie. Minnie, the maid, was the character that was strictly enforcing the segregation. It was Cecilia, the employer of Minnie, that was trying to break down the barrier, and she was having to fight for her right to be allowed to eat with Minnie. Minnie was very insistent that Cecilia and her should not be eating together, and it was Cecilia that in the privacy of her own home was insisting that Minnie eat with her, or at least Minnie allow her to eat with her. Perhaps this is because Minnie was so beaten down and felt degraded from her abusive husband that she insisted on not allowing herself to be treated better by Cecilia, because how she was forcing Cecilia to treat her was degrading, and that's how she was in her relationship with her husband. Or perhaps the social norms of the time led her to be uncomfortable with allowing Cecilia to treat her better. The largest conflict of perspective that this film centered around was that some people felt that the help was a part of their family, and other people firmly believed that the help was just property and treated them with less respect than they would their own pets. Skeeter, the main character, firmly believed in the help as being a part of her family. She adored her maid, Constantine, who practically raised her and looked up to her and taught her morals and just so many things. Cecilia and her husband try hard to integrate Minnie, their maid, and their help into their family as well, despite her resistance. They insist on having her forever if they can. Finally, this conflict and interest is clearly indicated in Skeeter's mother. Skeeter's mother is a very dynamic character at the beginning of the movie. Although she dearly cares for Constantine and Constantine's daughter, she still will not allow the help to interfere with her social status. In fact, she lets her social committee dictate her actions towards them, and she treats her help poorly and even fires them. And by the end of the film, she has changed in her ways and views and changes how she treats the help. And this is symbolic of the change that's occurring in society. The sociological imagination requires that a person relates who they are and what they stand for to history and how history is functioning. The film The Help is full of sociological imagination. Skeeter, the main character, knows who she is, knows what she stands for, and the social roles that she wants to be able to fulfill. The maids that help her write this book also stand firmly and know where they stand. These characters lead their personal lives in a way that helps change history. Even the publisher that Skeeter sends her book to has a part of the social reform that takes place. Social imagination does not only extend towards those making change or changing history or social events, it also applies towards those resisting this path of change. Skeeter's childhood friend and her boyfriend, Stuart, both resist the liberal rights movements. Who they are and what they stood for fit into history, and that was being made at that time as well. However, they were resisting that history. There are numerous ways in which my own biography is linked to larger historical and social events. The advent of social media is perhaps the most obvious. I'm not the most technologically savvy, and yet I live in a world in which technologies such as cell phones are essential. Without technology, social media is impossible to access, and without social media usage, one is severely handicapped. In this society, another social event is the obesity epidemic that has hit the world, this country in particular. I'm a fitness enthusiast, and I feel that I'm fighting very hard for a change in this trend in both my life and the lives of others. In a world where so many people feel that it's okay to become unhealthily out of shape and are willing to lead a lifestyle that causes them to rely on cardiac bypasses and diabetes medications to correct for their lifestyle. I'm hoping that my profession in the medical world, as well as the fitness industry, will be a part of a huge disease prevention reform in this nation, helping save the lives and quality of the lives of many.